Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another ramble. Jagex just dropped another blog post. Summer sweep up, Slayer, and miscellaneous. This is going to be a fucking banger. There will be a little IRL update at the end of the video as well, which I'm very excited to share. And yeah, so let's just jump into this. Also, all of these, you guys know the fucking drill. They're all on Spotify, pinned in the comments, linked in the description. So let's cover this. This is something as a sort of mid-level Iron Man. I feel like I'm almost like basically late game Iron Man, not end game, late game Iron Man. I'm getting to that point, but these sorts of updates really like hit home. Like they're perfect. They're beefy and they're like exactly what I want in the stage of the game I'm at right now. So this is just wonderful. In fact, I could just show you guys just briefly how the account's coming along. 2067 total level. This is, it's looking good. So I just wanted to just briefly share this. 92 Slayer, getting to like those really beefy levels. I want to do Serb, Iraq sites, you know. So this is just beautiful. So let's get into this right now. Summer sweep up, Slayer and Misk. We're back with more of the summer sweep up. This time we're revisiting that dedicated Slayer quality of life banner from our RuneFest roadmap and bringing you a handful of other tweaks too. Looking for combat and PVM changes, that was the first summer sweep up blog. You might also want to check out the separate update, which dealt with Tombs of Amasket loot changes. Today, though, we're kicking things off with a fan favorite, Slayer. Oh, I love Slayer updates. They're just good. I like Slayer. I'm a Slayer lover. Let me know down in the comments. I feel like there really is no in between with Slayer. It's either you hate it or you just absolutely love it. It's either S tier or F tier. It's always been S tier for me personally. And I've always said this. I know we'll cover the blog, but I've always said this. The way I enjoy Slayer is by having it be my relaxing skill. I never track XP per hour. I feel like if I tracked XP per hour or was super, super laser focused on efficiency, I would hate Slayer. So that's never been the case. It's always been just chill out, have fun, hit shit. It's just great, you know? Once you get to grips with Slayer, you'll unlock access to great training methods, lucrative loot tables, and exclusive bosses. But if you've ever introduced a friend to this iconic skill, you know that actually understanding it is half the battle. Yeah. Trying to be like, yeah, Slayer's great. Okay, to be fair, yeah. Slayer's an S tier skill, but only because I actually know it. I like understand it now. I feel like as a new player, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like, why am I killing fucking rock slugs and I don't even have the perk to like manually hit them? Like that yeah, I can see how like a new player would just absolutely hate this skill. Today's changes fix some long-standing issues with Slayer. We're giving you more flexibility when setting up your tasks and more time to actually slay things instead of scheming up ways to scam Turiel. Block list changes. Ever since Cristelia arrived, players have been begging for a wilderness-specific block list. Who can blame them? It's laborious, time-consuming, and expensive to rejig your block list every time you want to dabble in Wilderness Slayer and then swap back to regular Slayer afterwards. We've been unable to deliver this in the past because it's proved too technically challenging. But now we have the technology, and we want to go even bigger. Give every Slayer master their own block list. You won't need to unset and reset your blocks as you progress, and you'll be able to optimize your block list to achieve different goals. A Turiel block list that gets rid of nuisance tasks while you're boosting points. A Duradel block list set up for the best XP per hour. A Neve list for maximum Inferno tasks. The world's your oyster. That is just perfect. This is perfection right here. But won't this mean you're throwing points away? No. As of this update, different Slayer masters will have different prices for blocks. Excuse me. Turiel, 40 points. Mazka, 50. Vanica, 90. Sheldar, 70. Konar, 80. Neve, 90. And Duradel, 100. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, that's a good way to go about it. So you can switch masters. You know, if you're not feeling the Inferno speedies, you could just switch over to Duradel and have a slightly different block list. That's cool. When these changes go live, your current block list will be reset and any points spent will be refunded. If you're cringing at the thought of having to set up an entire list again while waiting for the worst tasks to pop up, think again. We're also doing a Slayer Master UI refresh. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So this list shows every NPC a Slayer Master can assign, the quantity that can be assigned, the percentage of chance that it'll be assigned with your current block unlock setup, and a tick box to show whether a task is able to be assigned, not unlocked or blocked. That's so fucking cool. So yeah, this is just wonderful. This is wonderful. So we're all going to be refunded, apparently. I got to check my own Slayer Master. Surely my block list is empty now. I can go in there and just check the ones that I already had, if I remember. How the hell does this guy have 100,000 Slayer points? Ugh, what I would do. This list, okay, I already read that. Going forward, every Slayer Master will be able to show you which tasks they can assign currently. The percentage chance, I already read all this, but I read the fucking italics of it. Best of all, you'll be able to block all the tasks you want with this same interface without having to wait to receive a task. If you really like doing things the old-fashioned way, you can wait and block. It's up to you. This is just awesome. Early game point changes. One of the issues facing new Slayers is that Slayer points can be hard to come by if you're engaging with the skill as intended. No new player wants to hear, that task sucks, and what you should do is 49 Turiel tasks, killing rats and birds, then a Konar task, then do again 5 times, then you can start playing, yeah. We're counteracting this by giving Mazkana, how do you even say this dude's name? Mashna? I don't even know. Mashna, probably. And Vanica a little nudge. Slayer points aren't exactly a precious resource, and we reckon these two are a little stingy when it comes to appropriately rewarding newer players. Totally valid. Currently, Majna gives 2 points per task, and Vanica gives 4. Here's what we're suggesting. 6 for Majna and 8 for Vanica. Okay, cool. Yeah, that looks nice. We're not expecting players to spend too long with either of these Slayer Masters, but this change should mean that they're able to skip or block a task from time to time without spoiling their overall progression. Unlocked point costs. Outside of skipping and blocking tasks, you've got the option to extend them, unlock new tasks, add some quality of life improvements to existing tasks, or unlock new features like superior Slayer creatures. We're making progression a little bit more sensible. Reduce bigger and badder from 150 points to 50. There are a lot of low-level Slayer monsters with superior variants, but by the time most players unlock this perk, they're well past and skip them entirely, unless they wind up Turiel skipping in the future. I love that. That's beautiful. It was already very reasonable. 150 points was already reasonable, but 50 is great. Task storage from 1,000 to 500. Beautiful. I still don't have that on this account. I never even used it on Sae Bae because I only was playing Sae Bae for that little extra time after it was brought into the game. But everybody says task storage is brilliant, so I'm excited to purchase this. This system's pretty cool, but only sees niche usage. We're hoping that bumping the initial unlock cost down and refunding you the difference if you've already purchased this should make it a little bit more of an appealing unlock. Reduce ring bling from 300 to 150. There's so many higher priority unlocks early on this one that this one gets deprioritized. I'm fucking struggling. Can you guys tell? By the time you have enough spare points to consider it, it's barely even worth the unlock. Slug Salter and Reptile Freezer reduced to 10 points. Ooh, yeah, reduced to 10 points. Oh, beautiful. These cost far too many points for where they're actually relevant, especially considering how minor their impact is. Yep, amen. That's great. Beautiful. Beautiful. We initially considered task unlocks like Lizardmen or AVNCs free to toggle, but we're still on the fence. Mostly we're concerned about encouraging unfun gameplay loops where players are sat around toggling things in the UI to try and game the chance for a better task. We could circumvent this problem with reduced cost to toggle something on or off after the initial unlock, but we want to hear your thoughts before we move forward. This needs to be a thing. This is my personal take on this. Absolutely, we need to be able to toggle on and off tasks that we've unlocked with points. 100%. And what they've done with this UI up here, this could be the same thing with unlocked tasks. Like literally just have the same little graphic we're looking at right here. Just have them all there. I mean, this is, it's not as clean as it could have possibly been, but this is a really clean thing. It would be cleaner if you could actually sort by like names of them and percentages and unblocks. I don't know why they don't have that yet. They should, you know what I'm talking about? Like the world switcher has a little arrow things that we can sort. They need to have that in these. But they should have a sort, you know, that has like extended. Like literally all you'd have to do, like where it says Slayer task right here, have 2 tabs. Have a big tab up here, have the sorts down here on this line, but have 2 tabs where it says tasks and then like your unlocked tasks that you purchased, you know. And then you could even have like extension tasks so you can unextend and extend freely. That would be kind of cool. So maybe even have 3 tabs up there. Just have like your basic tasks where you can block and unblock your unlocked ones that you can check and uncheck whenever, and then your extended where you can unextend and extend. That just sounds brilliant. I don't think anybody would see that as, oh man, this is so annoying because it's a UI. That's not an unfun game loop. It really isn't, in my personal opinion. Let me know if you disagree. I'd love to hear why. But that's just brilliant. It just has to be convenient, like maximally standardized, convenient. And yeah, that's just very important to me. To me personally, I would love that. Let me know what you guys think. Dragon tasks. As part of Project Rebalance last year, we removed dragons from the task list of some early game Slayer Masters, which was well received. The problem is that even later in the game, there are so many types of dragon tasks that they will crop up more often than some of you would like. While we think blue dragon tasks have their place, either for Irons making prayer XP or players wanting to fight Vorkath, and black dragon tasks are a quick couple of points at the baby black dragons in Taverley, metal dragons are a different beast entirely. We'd like to combine bronze, iron, steel, mithril, adamant, and rune dragons into a single metal dragons task. We'd also bump the default quantity to 20 to 40 and let you extend metal dragon tasks up to 150 to 200. This means in theory you could slay 200 dragons at a time if you like. Woo! That's fucking sexy. Genuinely sexy. Hell yeah. Huge fan of this. Yeah, that's just a brilliant idea. Brilliant. The weightings of existing tasks would be combined into metal dragon tasks, but a little lower with the sum of their parts, meaning you'd see better tasks more often. Ultimately, this means that rather than having multiple feels bad skip tasks, you wind up with just one, or you could block them out entirely if you'd like. It's worth noting that with some of the defense changes outlined in the first Summer Sweep Up blog, they'll likely be a little more appealing than they currently are. So maybe give a task or two a go before blocking them forever. If you've paid something like, I hope you myth me, we'll be able to refund you the points, and all of the blocks are getting reset anyway, so you can tweak those to your liking. Perfect. Herbs. This last change addresses a common point of frustration with loot from mid-game tasks. You've saved your points, grabbed the elusive herb sack, set out on another task, and oops, suddenly your inventory is full of noted herbs. This, the space-saving quality of life unlock you worked hard for isn't saving you much space at all. Yeah, it really isn't. When you get random noted herbs, it's one noted clean herb. It's just so bizarre. We'd like to make low quantities of noted herb drops unnoted so that it can be easily stacked in your trusty sack. Here's a full list of creatures whose noted herbs we'd like to convert to unnoted herb drops. Keep in mind that they only drop 1 to 3 herbs at a time, so your herb sack should prove plenty useful here. Adamant dragons, basilisk knights, fossil island wyverns, lobstrosity, ancient zygomites. I fucking hate those. Shazian criminals, lizardmen, shamans, and drakes. Cool. Yeah, fossil island wyverns were the most bizarre because they drop both. They drop the unnoted and the noted. And I'm pretty sure probably some of these other ones do as well. It's just, who made this table? It's so bizarre. And the noted ones are always just one quantity. It's just like, what UIM dev decided this was like the way? Because I swear it had to have been some UIM that's like, yeah, this would be good for my UIM. Other changes. Golem Bane and Gargoyles. This one is perhaps Slayer adjacent, so it makes sense to start here. If you're wondering what on earth Golem Bane is, take a look at the Baronite Mace, which boasts a damage bonus against golems. Outside of free-to-play, it's not all that useful. We're looking to give those same qualities, to the Granite Hammer, a 30% increase in damage against stony enemies. Naturally, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but when am I ever going to kill golems? And you're totally right, which is why we're adding more enemies into this pool with the goal of giving the Granite Hammer a use beyond training strength on a 50 attack pure. This means we'd be giving the Granite Hammer a 30% damage increase against any gargoyle by giving them the Golem tag, including Dusk, Dawn, and Superiors. This should make it a super appealing option and less of a feels bad from the Grotesque Guardians. It might even become your best option. Ooh. Mage Training Arena. I like that. I like it. It kind of reminds me of the Leaf Bladed Axe. Leaf Bladed Axe was the fucking powerhouse. This sounds cool too. Is it just going to be damage increase or 30% accuracy too? I guess these are already very like, they don't have much defense, but yeah. Okay, Mage Training Arena Rune Pouch. Had enough of Mage Training Arena? We didn't think so, especially with all the quality of life improvements it received in 2024's Poll 81. If you're dreading the thought of last man standing, or if you don't want to spend hours slaying without a rune pouch, then boy, have we got a thematically appropriate change for you. For the low cost of 150 telekinetic points, 150 graveyard points, 1500 enchantment points, and 200 alchemy points, you can be the proud owner of a brand new rune pouch. It's the same as existing rune pouch, but this should be a nice middle ground in terms of time to obtain between LMS and Slayer, while making a whole lot of sense and banking you some handy magic XP along the way. Make sure, Jagex, that this is not refundable. I can already see this being like a refund thing where you just get a shit ton of rune pouches from LMS and then just refund them at Mage Training Arena and just build up a shit ton of Mage Training Arena points. You know what? Fuck it. Just glitch the game like that. People will abuse it for a little bit. Who knows? They probably already patched that, or they're probably not even know. Can you even refund things at MTI? I'm actually not even sure. Moon keys. Before you say it, moon keys. I said it. The rate on these are not bugged and have been working as intended. Now we'll say it. What we intended here was absolutely miles off what's reasonable for combat halves. Skilling halves are more common than intended on account of shooting stars providing them to players. We're adjusting the formula here to make the tooth half of Moon Key considerably more attainable. Here's what that looks like from more common sources. So Frost Crab, yeah, 1 in 11,000 to 1 in 1,400. Beautiful. 1,500 to 250 for Blue Dragons. A Moxliotl, 500 to 125. Huey, 150 to 75. Okay. Keep in mind that Varlamore, the Final Dawn, will feature more sources of these key halves too, which should have drop rates in line with these adjusted offerings. We're also adding the Helmet of the Moon to the collection log. It's tough to obtain, but it is collectible, and you have every right to flex it to your friends. If you've already gotten one, then you'll be able to use it on the collection log item to update your log. Fucking beautiful. Yeah, this should have been added a while ago. This is obviously going to be a massive change to it. I mean, just simply a Moxliotl going from 1 in 500 to 1 in 125 is already just a massive change, literally 4 times more common. And yeah, so it's not the craziest thing. Plus they're adding more. This is just one of those things that's just kind of passive. It feels like, you know what I will say on the Moon, the Helmet of the Moon, I actually love that. I think whenever I think of Helmet of the Moon, I think of Mod Arcane. I remember on one of the Sae Bae casts, he was talking about how this was one of his hot takes. And I've mentioned this before, and if you listen to the cast, you know what I'm talking about. But he was like, it would be cool if pets had either been like basically 20 times more rare, or basically like he said like where pets are is like at a weird point. Like he almost wishes pets had been so rare, like 20 times more rare than they are. So like a pet that's 1 in 5,000 be 1 in 100,000, you know, like that. And the reason for it would be like, these are not supposed to be chased after. These are supposed to be very, very, very rare token things where an account might get 1 pet to max. You know what I mean? Like might. And just the idea of having a pet means so much more because they don't have any use to it as well. So some people might already be thinking, Sae Bae, aren't you the person that's advocating for reasonable drop rates? I do, except for when it comes to like cosmetics and stuff. Cosmetics can always just be whatever the hell rarity. I've always loved Third Age, for example. And I did like his hot take. Would I fully support it? I don't think so, but I just like the idea of it. I like thinking about a game where pets have been 20 times more rare than they are. So then it's like literally you get 1 pet and it's just your fucking pet. Like, hell yeah. I got so lucky on this little guy. He's mine forever. I'm just going to cherish him or her, So the reason I brought that up is because I do think, them making the Helmet of the Moon much more common. This is a huge change. Plus they're adding more NPCs that are going to give you, that Slayer dungeon that's coming out with Varlamore Part 3 is probably going to give you a bunch of those tooth halves. But they should come out with more things like the Helmet of the Moon and really lean into it. Like, don't make any changes. Don't make it so things become more common. Just really find a reasonable spot that where the item's super rare, maybe like 5,000 hours or something, and you're not going to change it over time. Because one of the things, like the Helmet of the Moon, it was such a cool item, and it still is, but nowadays you're going to see many more people having it. It's not going to be that giga flex, and I want those giga flexes. So in the future, when we come out with new areas and stuff, little dungeons and things, just have something that's so stupidly rare, and then don't fuck around with it, add it to the collection log, fuck everybody over that's a clogger, and just leave it as is, and do it with a promise that you won't adjust it. It's the same thing with Evil Chicken. Evil Chicken was so fucking rare, and then Forestry came out, and people could grind out full Evil Chicken in a week. And it was like a decade-long grind doing birdhouses every single, like, however long. Actually, this was before they even came from birdhouses, I think. I think it was something like you had to get like 1 billion, maybe not 1 billion, maybe it was like 400 million. It was like 400 million woodcutting XP at like Teaks or something, just to go like rate for Evil Chicken. It was something just crazy. I think it was Miscellaneous. Oh, yeah, that was it. It was a decade long at Miscellanea. Having 100% favorite Miscellanea would take you a decade to like go rate for those birdhouses or the bird eggs. Anyway, I love ideas like that. I love super, 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 super rare things that with a promise that it's not going to be just eventually made easy-scape. Who knows? Maybe that's just like the game at this point. Everything will be made easy-scape, but I don't know. Arcuus spell tweaks. Like, look at Third Age, for example. Sorry, just one more point on this. Third Age, they've done such a good job at not devaluing Third Age. Now, obviously, stackable clues have come into the game. Juggling clues have come into the game. Like, all those have obviously devalued Third Age to some extent. But it's not saying we're just going to bump up the rate of Third Age. They added mimics, obviously, but that was not a crazy change and it didn't do a ton to like the rate of Third Age. It obviously helped a little bit, but it was a fun way to do it. But like Third Age is one of those things where like imagine just 1 year they're like, yeah, Third Age is pretty rare, so we're just going to make it like 5 times more common. That would just not be good. Anyway, I need to shut up. Arcuus spell tweaks, sending us off with a few teeny tweaks, Dale Teeny, tweaks to the rune cost of certain Arcuus spells. We reduced the fire cost of Demon Bane spells shortly after Yama's release, since it was a tad overbearing on extended trips. We're proposing a few more changes in a similar vein, where some rune costs are outliers in terms of progression. We're adjusting Dark Demon Bane to 1 soul rune, 4 chaos runes, and 7 fire runes. This means you're swapping a soul rune for a chaos runes. These spells shine a little earlier in your journey or against Yama himself, and we felt that 2 soul runes was a bit much for the frequency with which you're casting these spells, especially since they require 90 runecraft to make yourself. We're also tweaking the rune cost for summoning thralls. Our logic here is simplifying the number of different runes you're required to bring to make Arcuus spellbook work. We're proposing that greater resurrection spells should have their 5 blood rune costs adjusted to 4 soul runes. Ooh. While this feels a little at odds with the move away from high soul rune cost for Demon Bane, our rationale is that you're casting these far less often than repeated Demon Bane spells, and this alleviates some inventory pressure for proper Arcuus usage. Ooh, that's a good point. That's cool. With that, you're up to speed. Let us know what you make of this batch of proposals. It's small but mighty. If all goes smoothly, you'll see them in game later this summer. Until next time. Okay, I thought this was like an update today, but I was like, didn't they say there was going to be no update this week? Okay, so this hasn't dropped yet. This is just another batch of stuff that they're proposing. I see. I was a bit confused. Cool. Okay, so yeah, all of his stuff looks really cool. I do like this sort of change. The soul runes makes actually more sense for thralls. There's like a part, when I was reading this, there's just part of me that was like, oh yeah, there's like basic thralls and adept thralls and then like the greater thralls or something. I'll be honest, we should just we should clean up the Arcuus spellbook a little bit and just get rid of the 6 useless spells that literally nobody is using. I'm sorry. Like, nobody's using those shittier thralls. Also, on the topic of thralls, can we just make it so they guarantee 1s? I hate it when thralls miss. It's just stupid. And it would be such a cool update. This is my own opinion. I know there's some people like, that's a massive DPS increase. Brother, like, we have massive DPS increases all the fucking time. This is not that massive. And what's upsetting, I almost get secondhand upsetness, like butthurtness, when I'm watching like somebody running an Inferno speed and they have their thralls out and a monster has 1 HP left and the thrall could have killed it, but it hits a fucking 0. Like a thrall has perfect 100% accuracy and hits a 0. It's so upsetting. It makes me upset. So we need to change that. That's just my personal take. And if you wanted to have it very, very low DPS increase, then make it so the 0 just turns to a 1. So there is still a 1, 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Like what they did with our DPS, where you can no longer hit a 0 if you successfully hit something, but they changed the 0 to a 1. So now there's a double weighting on 1. They could do the same thing with thralls if that's such a big issue to people. It fucks my OCD up, but I will accept it. The other thing I wanted to say was on Slayer. Listen, I had a vampire task last night, and we, please, for the love of God, first off, if we're talking about adjusting rates, vampire sentinels, how you get blood shards, it's a 1 in 1,500 for a blood shard. That's just absolutely out of control. Honestly, we should change that to 1 in 1,000. That's my personal take. 1 in 1,000 seems reasonable. But if you're not going to touch those rates, and I know with the final part of the Mauritania quest line, there's probably going to be some other optional ways to get blood shards. You should also add it to Fasani's. But on the topic of like actual vampire tasks, I feel like if you get a vampire task, you should have, sounds crazy, but if you listen to my cast, you probably already know what I'm about to say, 5 times more common blood shards when you get a vampire task. They do the same thing with so many places in Mount Karum and Basilisk Knights. They have that 5 times multiplier on things. I've always been against that for a lot of reasons because I just want the drop to be reasonable. Like for example, the Basilisk, we've talked about this, but like the Basilisk Knight, the Basilisk Jaw, that thing should have always been a 1 in 512 drop, not a 1 in 1,000. That was already egregious, and it should have been a 1 in 512 even without a task. It should not be 5 times more common. But there are certain situations where I do think it's cool, like Revenants. Revenants having a 5 times better rate of a weapon actually kind of gives Wildy Slayer that extra little niche, which is fun. And I think vampire tasks should have a 5 times multiplier on blood shards. So there's like encouragement to get that vampire task and to slaughter it. And then for those real players, not the gold farmers, not the people running 17 alts, they get a better chance of getting a blood shard. It's actually insane how you get a vampire task that has like 100 vampires and you just go kill them. You would take 15 fucking tasks of that. 15 fucking tasks of that to go rate for 1 blood shard. You don't even get a 2 drop like pickpocket. It's just 1. It's just out of control. And I really feel like a 5 times better drop rate on that would be great. Yeah, so in my perfect world, it would be a 1 in 1,000 for a blood shard from Fire Sentinels, and then a 1 in 200 on task. That would be so cool. Yeah, that's my personal take. There's so many more things I love with Slayer, but this is all good stuff. I'm a fan. And yeah, so I also wanted to briefly talk about my trip. I flew out to Denver on Sunday, and I was there until Wednesday. Got to hang out with a girl, really special girl to me, and it was just a wonderful time. And yeah, so there's a lot to share, but we did just kind of tour Denver and just had a really fucking fun time. And yeah, it was kind of exciting because we had been talking for a couple months just over, phone and FaceTime and Discord and everything else. And even though we knew like everything about each other, there was still like that initial like just anticipation of meeting in person. Like, holy fuck, like we're gonna be face to face. And I had never flown out to see anybody ever in my life, and she had never had anybody fly out to see her, and she had never flown out to see anybody. So it was definitely like so much pressure and anticipation for like meeting at the airport. But it was just like one of the best moments of my life, like seeing her in person. And then we spent 3 days straight with each other, and it was just, it was so good. It was so fun, and very content. And the streams will commence very shortly. I have a friend that just flew in today. We're going to be hanging out for like a week, maybe a little bit less than that. But the streams and everything on YouTube and Twitch will commence. So drop a follow down there if you guys are interested. And yeah, anyway, there's so much more I would love to share, but I'm going to respect her privacy and everything. And yeah, but in due time, I promise, guys. So yeah, that's a little IRL update. And yeah, so anyway, I gotta head in a bit because I gotta go over to my parents and meet my friend. So yeah, have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you all for tuning in as always. And yeah, check out the show on Spotify. I really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. Peace.